Hello students, in today's video we will be discussing the first method of the chapter measurements, that is four-probe method. The previous video I discussed the basics of sheet resistance, or you can say surface resistivity. In today's video we will be discussing the first method and a very important method which is used to find out the sheet resistance or surface resistivity. It is known as a four-probe method. Four-probe method, it is also known as four-terminal sensing, you can say 4T sensing or four-wire sensing. It is an electrical impedance or resistance measuring method which uses separate pairs of current carrying electrodes and voltage sensing electrodes to make more accurate measurements. Unlike the two-probe method, this method has total four different electrodes. You can say two pairs. One pair is actually the current carrying, that is the source, and the other pair is the sensing electrode, that is which measures the voltage. This actually results in a very accurate measurement, and while designing semiconductor devices where low resistance measurements are needed, we actually need a very accurate measurement. Now, before I start the method, there are some basic concepts which need to be clear before you understand the topic. So suppose in this case what I have shown is, I think you all must be aware how current spreads inside any material, inside any conductor or semiconductor. So on the right hand side, I have shown two different conditions. If you can see this diagram, what does this diagram indicate? Suppose this cylindrical portion is the material and this is the electrode which is inserted inside the material. I'm repeating again, the electrode is injected or inserted inside the material. In this case, just consider this is just an assumption to make you understand what exactly happens. So suppose we say that this electrode is supplying current to this conductor. What will happen? The current on entering this material will spread in all possible directions. That is what we call spherical spreading of current. Whereas in the diagram A, what I have shown is, suppose you connect this electrode on the tip of this, just on the surface of the material. You are not injecting inside the material, it is just touching the surface. So in this case, what happens? There is no possibility of current coming out of the material. So what we get is, all the current will actually penetrate the material and you will be getting a hemispherical, that is half of a sphere. The current will spread in this manner because the electrode itself is at the tip. So there is no possibility that the current jumps out because there is no material outside the surface. So in this case, why I explained this? Because you understand how current actually spreads. Now we'll be discussing the four-probe method for two different cases, a thick sample and a very thin sheet. So suppose I consider a thick sample. I have just shown the cross-sectional area. So suppose say this is the surface of the material. This is the material itself where you have a certain thickness T. So in this case what happens? Just consider, I have just redrawn the diagram A on the left side. So if I have an electrode which is just on the surface, I repeat again, just on the surface, what will happen? It will inject current in all possible directions beneath the surface and you will be getting a hemispherical spreading. So this is one of the two concepts I wanted to explain. The next one is known as superposition. Do not misinterpret. This is not superposition theorem we are discussing. It is known as superposition of the electric fields. Now you have, in our method, we have two electrodes. One will send the current inside the material, the other will take it out. So suppose I consider that this electrode is inputting the current and this electrode is the output terminal, right? So there is a continuous flow of charges from here. So from here the current is flowing over here. So this is the current flow. What actually happens, the moment, now current is a quantity which will spread like a curl. Curl is a topic I have explained you in the topic called London penetration. So curl means circular motion of any quantity around a certain direction. So this side what happens, this is, you can say, positive minus negative. This is positive because it is the input. This is negative because it is the output. How are these fields? Now, if this is a positive charge, it will have some field around this. If this is a negative charge, it will have some field around this. So actually what is happening is the positive is being the difference of the two. The electric field between these two will be this charge minus this charge. Now this charge is already negative. So you have plus minus minus, which gives you double the effect of electric field. Right? So you can say that flow in, this is the input, flow in is negative flow out. So that gives you summation of electric fields. You can say the field sources add up. These are the two important concepts which will make the understanding of this method comparatively easy. I will be sharing all these diagrams when I share the video. Now the method. 4-probe method is used to measure sheet resistance of either a bulk or a thin film specimen. Why do we consider thin film specimen? Because while designing semiconductor devices, we use very thin sheets of materials. Because semiconductor devices which we use, suppose we consider a remote control. I think you might have sometimes seen the remote control. So small devices are present on the remote control. They are not like the usual ones we use in laboratories. So while designing such a type of electronic device, we need a very, very thin sheet specimens, and we measure the resistance of those specimens prior to their use. Okay, now this method uses a set of 4 probes. The distance between each probe is denoted as S. We have a current source which is connected between the outer 2 probes, and there is a voltmeter which is connected between the inner 2 probes. Now to measure the resistivity of the sample, a constant current I goes through the 2 outer probes. There is a constant current source connected which will supply current to the 2 outer probes, and what we do is we measure the voltage between the inner 2 probes. Now 2-probe method has an advantage that contact resistance, the multimeter resistance gets added up. But in this case, what we take is the voltmeter which is used to measure the potential difference. It has a very, very high impedance, or a very, very high resistance voltmeter is used. What will happen if you use a high resistance voltmeter? The current will not pass through the inner 2 probes. The current will not pass through the voltmeter. So the contact resistance and the voltmeter resistance will not be added, and that is how you get accurate reading. Differential resistance can be measured because we are considering a thin specimen, and that is denoted as dr. It is equals to rho. The formula is R is equals to rho L by A. Instead of R, we write differential resistance dr, and instead of length, we consider a small segment dx. Rho means the resistivity of the sample, A means the area through which the current passes, and dx is just a small distance, or you can consider the difference across which the inner 2 probes are connected. Now let us move on to case number 1. Case number 1, that is bulk sample, we consider S less than T, where T is known as the thickness of sample and S is known as the probe spacing. So this is the diagram of 4-probe method, case number 1. We have a sample which is shown by the cylinder. This is the thickness of the sample. If you can see, there are 1, 2, 3 and 4 probes connected. The distance between the 2 probes is denoted as S. All the probes are equidistant. You have a constant current source. This current source is supplying current through probe 1, and this current will spread in the sample and it will come out through probe 4. It will not pass between these 2 probes. Why? Because between these 2 probes, the voltmeter which we have connected is having very, very high resistance. So the current cannot pass through 2 or it cannot pass through 3. So current, whatever is entering the probe 1, will definitely come out from 4. So this is how the flow of current will be there. Now all the probes are connected. There are contacts made on the surface and the probes are just connected on the surface of the material. So like I just discussed at the beginning of the video, that if the electrode is at the surface of the material, the current is going to spread like this. So you will be getting the current pattern like this. The current will spread like this. That is half of sphere you can say hemisphere. What else I have labeled in the diagram? Suppose we consider this direction as x. So starting from this as 0th position, we say this as x1, this as x2, this as x3. So from the diagram, we can say that we are measuring the potential difference between x1 and x2. Or you can say x1. What is the value of x1 if you consider from 4 to 3? This is x1, that means s. And what is the value of x2? If you start from this 0th position, we get s plus s. So value of x2 will be 2s, value of x1 will be s. And we are measuring the potential difference across x1 and x2. So differential resistance across dx, across a small segment dx means we are considering x1 to x2 as the limit. Now, as I just said, dr, that is differential resistance, is equal to rho dx by A. A means the area through which current is passing. Now, if I integrate on both the sides, I get R is equals to integration of rho dx by A, and integration limits will be x1 and x2. Why? Because the current which is given to outer two probes has some potential difference. It creates some potential difference across the sample, and that we are measuring across 2 and 3. That we are measuring across x1 and x2. So we have the limits as x1 to x2. Now area, as I said, will be area of hemisphere because the electrodes are just on the surface. They are not inside the surface. So area of a sphere is area of a sphere is 4 pi r square. Here we will be considering half because hemisphere means half of a sphere. So we have area as 2 pi x square. So substituting the value of area, we get R is equals to integration x1 to x2 rho dx upon 2 pi x square, where I have rho as a constant term and 2 pi as a constant term. So I will be taking the constant terms outside the integration. I have R is equals to rho upon 2 pi integration of x1 to x2 1 upon x square dx. The integration of 1 upon x square is minus 1 upon x. So we have minus 1 upon x, limits are x1 to x2. But just now in the diagram we've seen that x1 value is s and x2 value is s plus s, that is 2s. So substituting the values of x1 as s and x2 as 2s, we get rho by 2 pi into minus 1 upon 2s minus minus 1 upon s. That gives us R is equals to rho upon 4 pi s, where s is the spacing between the two probes. I call this equation as number 1. Due to superposition of current at the outer two probes, we have, now I have just explained what is superposition, that electric fields are being added up. So because of that, we have resistance is equals to V upon 2I. The currents add up due to superposition of electric fields. It is positive minus minus negative will give you summation. So comparing the equation 1 and 2, we get rho upon 4 pi s is equals to V upon 2I, which gives us rho is equals to, I just take this on RHS, so 2 pi s into V upon I. If you measure rho, you can find out sheet resistance by dividing it with thickness. We've discussed in the previous video that sheet resistance is equals to resistivity divided by sample thickness. So this is how sheet resistance can be found out. Now the above expression applies to only semi-infinite volumes. This equation which we derived is not applicable to thin films. It is only applicable wherein thickness is slightly more than the probe spacing. Now let us discuss case number 2, that is very thin sheet. Thin sheet means we will be considering the thickness of the sample very less as compared to probe spacing. So S is the probe spacing and T is the thickness of sample. So before I start the method, there is one slight difference. Same way as I explained before case number 1, here the thickness is very small. So in this case what happens? The current is only being able to spread sideways because the thickness downward is negligible. You say very small. So the spreading of current, if you just consider the axis with respect to this electrode, because the thickness is very less, the current will not spread in the downward direction. It will only spread sideways. So what will happen? You will be getting a hemispherical spreading only, but the center will be hollow. So just consider half of a sphere with a center hollow. It will actually be sideways, not downward. So you will be getting a shape like hollow cylinder. You call it a ring. Due to very less thickness, current will spread in the form of a ring, or you can say a hollow cylinder with very small thickness. Because if you consider this portion, which is in line with the axis of the electrode, because of its negligible thickness, it will not allow current to spread downward. So this is just explained so that you actually know the difference between areas of the two cases. Now we come on to the method. So we've taken a thin sheet material having a thickness very less as compared to, now from the diagram also you can see that T is very small as compared to S. Same as the earlier case, we have probe number 1, 2, 3 and 4 connected. A constant current source is connected between 1 and 4. So this is how current will spread. So what I explained is the moment the current reaches here, before the current spreads here, because there is no space, the thickness is so less that the current will only spread sideways and it will form ring-like structure. 2 and 3, between 2 and 3, a very high impedance voltmeter is connected so that the current doesn't pass through 2 and 3. Rest other things remain same as case number 1. Again, the differential resistance is rho into dx by A. Now here we will be considering area of a hollow cylinder. Area of a cylinder is 2 pi r h. Instead of h, instead of height, we have thickness T. So we will be considering area as 2 pi x into T. So on integrating, because again voltage is measured between x1 and x2, so we have integration limits as x1 and x2. R is equals to x1 by integration x1 to x2 rho dx upon 2 pi xt. Now here rho, 2 pi and t, thickness remains constant. So the constant terms are outside the bracket. You get integration of 1 upon x dx. Now integration of 1 upon x dx is ln x. So substituting the limits, x1 is equals to s, x2 is equals to 2s, we get the value of r as rho upon 2 pi t, that was a constant term, into ln2. ln2s minus ln s gives us ln2. Because of superposition of currents at the outer two probes, like we discussed in case 1, we have R is equals to V upon 2I. So comparing these two equations 1 and 2, we get rho upon 2 pi t into ln2 is equals to V upon 2I, and rho is equals to pi t ln2 into V upon I. You can say that rho is equals to, now pi upon ln2 gives a value 4.53 t into V upon I, and sheet resistance can be found out if you divide this equation by thickness. So this is the equation for a thin sheet sample. You can be asked different cases, either case 1 or case 2. Now advantages of this method, very low resistance values can be measured. The accurate value of resistivity can be obtained. Why? Because the contact resistance is not considered due to the high impedance voltmeter, and contact resistance errors are also eliminated. Applications of this method are remote sensing areas, resistance thermometers, and designing bipolar plates of fuel cells. Hope the topic is clear. Thank you.